What's up, everyone? All right, so here we are. It's the first day of July, and I'm sitting here in the green up $50,000. So $50,000 in the green on the month. That puts me at 5% of the way towards my $1 million goal for July. Well, today I got myself a little frustrated. On my first couple of trades, I came out of the gate swinging, and within 40 minutes, I was up $56,000. And next thing you know, I got a couple more trades and I was up 60 grand. And then I lost $10,000 on one trade, went from up 60 to up 50. I got back in and I lost another 10,000 on it. I went down from 50 to 40. Then I took another trade on another stock. I lost 2,000 on that and I was at 38,000. From 38,000, I was able to rally back up to a peak of 57,000, and I'm finishing right now at 51,000. Green is good. The cup is certainly half full, and yet it feels like it's about 15% shy of its peak. It's hard to kind of shake that. So in today's episode, I'm going to break down my trades from the morning, what I did right, what I could have done better, and I want to take those lessons and apply them to tomorrow. So tomorrow I can do even better than I did today. Because when we look at my P&L, you're going to see, well, what's going on here? There's something wrong with my screen. All right, there it is. So you're going to see that I'm up 51,000, which is great, but I'm down 22,000 on TRNR. And so if you looked at just the winners, I'm up, almost $80,000 on the day. Now, it doesn't really make sense to focus or think about it in that way because there's no way to make money trading without having some losses. But these were bigger losses than I would have liked to have taken. And I'm disappointed with that. And if I could have done things a little differently today. Today could have been a $75,000 green day or maybe a $65,000 green day. All right, so let's go back to the first trade of the morning, and that's going to be CLRO. When I sat down this morning, I was working with a gap scan where BGLC was our leading gapper, and it was up about 400%. But as you'll see, this stock made a huge move really early with no news. So it goes all the way up from a low of $2 to $22.50. Now, I would have loved to have traded that price action, but it happened starting at 4 a.m. and then continuing at 5 a.m., and I don't trade that early in the morning. So it ended up going sideways, pulling back, and it dipped down, and I did get one trade on it. And the one trade that I got on it was taking this trade right here on the break of volume weighted average price. So as soon as it started breaking VWAP, I added. It went from 1450 all the way up to a high of 1636. I made $6,975. I was actually up a bit more than that, but I didn't sell at the top. I ended up selling as it came back down. And so this is a 5-minute chart. Now, if we zoom in on that pop on the 1 minute, what you'll see is that basically it ripped in one candle from 13 to 16. So I was up nicely. And then it came all the way back, more than halfway back down. So I wasn't really able to lock up as much profit on it as I was hoping to. But nonetheless, this was our stock that was the leading gainer in the market. It was not, however, the first stock I traded. The second leading gainer was CLRO. And that was the first stock I traded. CLRO also up quite a bit. There was a headline after hours. It didn't feel super significant. But this morning, pre-market, all of a sudden it rips up right here, dips down, and squeezes up again. So right at 7 a.m., when it starts popping up here, I ended up buying this first pullback. So it goes up here. I didn't trade that move. It dips down right here, and I ended up taking my first entry at 1272 and adding it 13. It pops from 13 right here all the way up to 1578. So right there, I made $15,000. That's my start of the day with a cushion. Then it does a 1 minute pullback right here. I add back and we get this rip here all the way up to 19. So I ended up being up $29,000 on the morning just in the first 10 minutes. Now it ends up pulling back, going sideways, but I did get another trade on it. And the last trade that I got on it was actually right down here. Coming into 9 a.m., top of the hour, it broke VWAP, held, and I added, and I was looking for that curl back up. I was hoping that we would get back over this level here of 1578, and then we'd be retesting our pre-market highs. We weren't able to do that, but I did make some money on that. And so I'm sitting up $43,000 on the morning on CLRO. That's a really solid day on that stock. So after my trades on CLRO, I switched gears to BMNR. BMNR, big move yesterday, definitely left some money on the table on it, but came in this morning and was happy to trade it. And so at about 7:15 here, it squeezes up from $36 up to $46, pulls back right here, pops up, and I bought this pullback right there. I was looking for the breakthrough $50 a share, and then I was looking for the squeeze up to 55, and we got that. So right there, we got about $6 a share. That was enough for me to make $30,000. Now, at the open, I took, well, actually, that was about $25,000. And at the open, I took another trade on it right here, buying the break of 54. It squeezes all the way up to 58, and I sold going into the halt, and I was up at that point 57,000 on the day. Then it dips down, and I bought the dip, but then it flushes, and I managed to lose about $6,000. So gave back some of what I made on that trade at the open, but nonetheless sitting up 30,000 on BMNR. So things were in really good shape at that point in the day. You know, CLRO, BMNR, everything had been going pretty well. And then I broke the ice on BGLC. So that was that trade right there. So this is where I peaked at about $63,000 on the morning. And then things started to go wrong. So SNGX was my first loss, losing only $300 on it. But I got in right here on this micro pullback. I got in looking for the breakthrough, the pre-market high, and it dipped and ran into resistance and just dropped. So managed to lose only $300. When it couldn't pull away, I jumped right out. But I was like, okay, that was a bummer. Then the next trade was TRNR. TRNR initially popped up, dropped all the way back down, came back up, and I got in right here for the breakthrough the high. So I'm in at 1140. It squeezes up to a high of 1250, and then it knifes all the way back down to 10, and I lost 10 grand right there. I didn't sell when I was up. I thought it was going to keep going, and all of a sudden it dropped really fast. And I was sort of thinking, all right, well, let's see if it pops back up. And it kept going lower, and I had to cut my loss. Drops down, comes back up, dips down, and then right here I add back for the break of 12, and it drops a second time. And I'm like, all right, I'm done with that stock. Down 22,000. And so just like that, I gave back a third of my day, and I was wondering if I should just walk away. I didn't. I sat tight for a little bit. That was at about 8:20, 8:30 that I had those losses. And then we had VVOS that came out with news. So VVOS comes out with news. I jumped on it quickly, and on my first trade, I lost $2,000. So I jumped in it. I can't remember. It must have been right around here. Pops up, drops down, lost 2 grand. Then it curls back up. I got back in, and I actually made about $7,000 on it. And then I added back right here, and I lost about $9,000 on it. So I went from red $2,000 to green $5,000 back to red $4,000. Sorry, $2,000 on VVOS. Now, WETO was sort of a similar story. So WETO, I jumped in this one and went green to red on it as well. So this one, first trade right here, break of this resistance level, pops up, drops down, small green, added back here, small green, and on this one, added up here, and it just totally rolled over. So, you know, today was kind of tricky. We had a lot of volatility, we had some big moves, but attention was a bit dispersed. I mean, look at my trading. I traded 2, 4, 6, 7 different stocks. Look how many stocks we have that are up with more than, 20 million shares of volume. There's a lot. So attention is a bit dispersed across the market, whereas yesterday it was a bit more focused on one stock for the majority of the day. And that tends to work better. So my hope for tomorrow is that we'll have one stock that's really obvious. And I suppose the one thing I would say is that on WETO, it gave me kind of a bad feeling early on. So did VVOS. So did TRNR, and I traded them anyways. And I probably should have gone with my gut and just left them alone when I didn't like the price action. But you know what? I went with my gut on GPUS earlier. I didn't trade it right here. I was like, nah, I don't think it's going to work. And then it rips $1 a share without me. So I think that's where I was feeling like maybe I couldn't trust my intuition today, and that the market was just super hot, and even things I don't think are going to typically work will work anyways. But while that was true on some, it was, my intuition and my initial gut kind of feeling was correct on others, but I didn't follow it. So that's something for me to be aware of going into tomorrow. But at this point, I'm starting the week or starting the month of July here with a nice winner. When I was up in the 60s, 60,000 today, I started thinking, okay, it's early in the morning. It's only like 7:45. This could be a 6-figure day, and wouldn't that be an awesome way to start the month of July? So I started getting pretty aggressive, and that clearly did not pay off. Although, again, part of it was because of dispersed attention and not being sure if I should trust my gut or not. So today, a little bit of a choppy day, but finishing in the green, and I'm grateful for that. And I'll remind you guys, as always, my results aren't typical. I have been doing this for a long time. So I encourage you guys to take it slow and to practice in a simulator. And if you want to get access to the simulator that we offer at Warrior Trading, which will aggregate your data and give you your metrics, and if you want to go through my entire Warrior Pro curriculum, we have a special bundle that's on sale right now for the 4th of July. So make sure you guys check that out. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll see you back at it. I'll be live streaming tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm hoping that we have a couple of really, not just a couple, that we have one really obvious stock that I can sink my teeth into tomorrow. All right, so that's it for me. Thank you guys as always for tuning in, and I'll see you in the morning.